Okay, so some mild spoilers here with regards to the movie, even though this is going to hopefully be a short and sweet review, because I really don't know what else to say when it comes to Marvel movies, or at least Marvel Studios Marvel movies, because they are very reliable sources of entertainment, I feel. You get a little bit some fun action, great visuals, great performances, and yeah, it's a thoroughly enjoyable ride for the most part in a lot of these Marvel films. And Black Panther is certainly another great addition to that. There are a couple of elements in the movie that really, I feel, elevate it beyond something, say, with regards to like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, it's a solid movie. Go check it out. You probably have checked it out before I checked it out, so go check it out again, because I probably will. So Black Panther actually picks up, I think, a week after the events of Civil War, and T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, has basically been given the mantle of king passed down from his father who died in Civil War, named King of Wakanda, this hidden African society that harvests vibranium, the strongest metal, most powerful metal on Earth. Captain America's shield is made out of it. Winter Soldier's arm is made out of it. And they've been hidden away for many, many years, centuries even, from the rest of the world. And now this is not only bringing kind of the Black Panther into the mix, but also bringing Wakanda into the global spotlight. And that's kind of the theme laced throughout the movie with regards to T'Challa and his struggle, mixed in with the struggle he faces against the main villain, Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, is this theme of, do we continue to kind of hide and shield ourselves from the rest of the world in order to self-preserve, or in order to preserve the rest of the world, because we know that the world can take these resources that we have and royally fuck up everything? Or do we extend an olive branch, try a little bit of something different in order to progress ourselves and the rest of the world in tandem? Because basically Wakanda's been miles ahead of the rest of the world. I'm sorry, I keep saying the rest of the world. They're miles ahead of everyone else with regards to technological advancements. And now they're feeling like, since other nations have kind of caught up to them, now should be the time to kind of reveal ourselves. But some people are very hesitant about that. T'Challa himself is somewhat hesitant about that. Like, is my priority to my people or to the suffering of people everywhere? So I did like that theme kind of being laced throughout the film a little bit more. It's something we really haven't seen much of in Marvel movies. It's usually like, stop the villain, where here the superhero is also something of a diplomat, something of a regal figure, and a head of government, and you have to kind of see that political side to things. And I'm not gonna lie, there are many relevant political parallels taking place in the movie with regards to what's going on right now in our own world, but they're not heavy-handed. It's not bashing you over the head with, this is what this represents, or this is the allegory for this. No, it's very subtle and placed in there with a dash of adventure and awesome spectacle. The visuals are really, really amazing in this movie. Great design work. I love the look of Wakanda as a city. Back in like 2009 when Avatar came out and everyone was all head over heels in love with the look and style of Pandora, and they were like, we wish it was real, we wish Pandora was a real place. I guarantee you, it's probably happening right now that people are like, oh man, what I wouldn't give for Wakanda to be real. I love all the actors in this. Chadwick Boseman, I'm not going to say he's the lead. He's a nice central actor to have all of these other events and other characters taking place around. The Black Panther is a solid, stoic protagonist that you can base this world around. He does a solid job. I've been a fan of his since, what was it, 42, the Jackie Robinson biopic he did. He's given a lot more, obviously, to do than he did in Civil War, because that wasn't his vehicle necessarily. Here, he has to deal with not just taking the reins of Wakandan leadership, but also dealing with some deep-rooted family secrets that come to light, and he has to wrestle with what is proper with regards to Wakanda society and what is right with regards to his own internal moral compass. So Chadwick does a great job kind of displaying that. This movie has some nicer humorous moments, and it's not like with Thor Ragnarok where you felt sometimes the humor was really forced or hammered in there. Haha, Thor pun. No, the humor that takes place in this movie is very much laced throughout conversations with the characters as they would naturally kind of interact with one another. A lot of the comedy kind of stems from his interactions with his sister, who provides all of the Black Panther tech. She's like the Q to his James Bond, if you will. She gives him a lot of smarm and sass the way Q would give James Bond at times. But it's also gone an extra mile because they are siblings, and that there's some affectionate teasing between the two. I will admit there was one groan-worthy line from her because she had to resurrect "What are those?" A bunch of little kids in the theater loved that. I rolled my eyes and I was like, don't try to do that funny. You were being humorous and interesting enough without having to give in to memes. Two of my favorite moments and characters from the movie, Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan. He's actually a very interesting villain. He's given, I think, the best scene in the movie at the very end. I'm not going to spoil that much for you, but it is a really emotional performance he delivers in his final scene in the movie. Like, that last moment really sealed the deal on making this a very compelling personal character for this particular hero to face. Andy Serkis as Klaue, how you say it. He is just having the time of his life with this character. You've seen him, of course, in Age of Ultron briefly. He really embraces the maniacal side of the villain's story, where Michael B. Jordan has more of the compelling, character-driven narrative. Klaue just goes all out crazy with his laser arm and singing "What is Love" while being interrogated by Martin Freeman. Now just into some nitpicks, because at this point there's not too much I have to say with regards to praise to Marvel movies. They are solid, reliable entertainment, like I said before. There's a couple of moments that I kind of arched my eyebrow at from time to time, just because I gotta find something, anything. A little bit of a spoiler here, but there comes a point where High Priest, played by Forrest Whitaker, kind of reveals a little bit of backstory. It goes back to the year 1992. It starts in 1992, and you see a little bit of the scene, and you have a feeling like, okay, that's going to come back a little bit later. And then when it does, it's because Forrest Whitaker is telling us the rest of the story of what happened in 1992 between Black Panther himself and someone else. And there's a young actor who's playing young Forrest Whitaker. And this is 1992. But then we come back to present day, and it's Forrest Whitaker playing this character. So that's about 26 years, I want to say. Is that right? You tell me that this kid who's playing young Forrest Whitaker character has 26 years until he looks like present day Forrest Whitaker. No knock against Forrest Whitaker, man. I love the guy. He's a phenomenal actor. But even back in 1992, Forrest Whitaker very much looks very Forrest Whitaker-y, you know? And so I see this young guy, and I didn't think much of it, but then when I go back to this flashback and it's revealed that Forrest Whitaker is actually this character as a young person, I'm very much like, oh man, 26 years is going to be rough to you, buddy. Because I can't remember how old Forrest Whitaker actually is. I think he's in his 60s at this point, but this dude looks like he's in his 20s, early 20s. And I'm kind of like, man, you're telling me you're going to look like a 50, 60-year-old man in only the short span of 26 years? For a priest, you must have a rough life. I don't know, have you been eating that fruit of strength? Maybe you haven't been eating enough of your fruits of strength. Because, man... 26 years and you gotta look like Forrest Whitaker. I feel bad for bagging on Forrest Whitaker. I genuinely like Forrest Whitaker, but it just bothered me. That's all. Like, again, these are just the nitpicks. This doesn't make or break the movie for me. It was just that, like, when I found out that this character has 26 years to turn into Forrest Whitaker, whew, that's gonna be some rough mileage, buddy. Alright, enough about Forrest Whitaker. Too much bashing of Forrest Whitaker. I love the guy. Other little nitpicks that kind of just stuck out to me here or there. The "What are those" meme. That definitely was kind of, I was just like, oh no, don't bring that back. Like, at that point, I would have been surprised if his sister was just like, damn, Daniel! Like, oh god, kill me with these memes. Like a lot of these Marvel movies, I did kind of call certain plot twists or certain shifts. Like I said, the 1992 opening, I'm like, okay, that's definitely coming back. That's going to end up playing kind of a bigger point in the plot. I mean, maybe that was expected. Maybe you're like, okay, obviously this is going to continue further. But it was kind of like the tip of the iceberg with regards to predictability in terms of the plot. There's a point where Black Panther, or I should say T'Challa, he's not in Black Panther mode at this point. Before his coronation, he has to be challenged by all the other tribes of Wakanda for leadership, and all the other tribes don't typically challenge the king on this until you guess it, that one out there tribe in the mountains, their leader is like, you know what? No, this year I'm gonna get his ass. So their leader challenges him. T'Challa spares him in battle, and you're like, oh, he spared his life. He saved his life, you might say. I wonder if that's going to come back. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, a life for a life type of plot point that takes place a little bit later on in the film. There's a point with same character where he's like, I respect you, don't respect you enough to go and fight for you. And no way would I ever really, sacrifice my armies for the good of all for this one final confrontation. Don't expect me to show up at the last minute to help save you, because that's totally what I'm not going to do. Me with my legions of warriors raised in the mountains, we're totally not going to come in at the very almost end of the third act and save the day. No way, not that predictable. So yeah, there's a couple of plot points that you can telegraph from a mile away on this, but I didn't mind it. Even if I was aware of like, oh, okay, I know who's going to rescue who now. I know what's going to happen now. I wasn't angry about it. I wasn't frustrated by it. Because, like I said, the performances and the world that they set up and the stakes that they set up for this world overshadow what would typically be, I feel, a strong fault in a lesser film. My final nitpick, and this isn't really about Black Panther as it is about Marvel movies in general, and movies in general, I guess, is the idea of having recognizable celebrities in your cast. As much as I totally buy and believe Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther and Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger and Andy Serkis, being a total chameleon as Claw, when you have some people like, say, maybe Forrest Whitaker. Sorry, I'm back on you, Forrest. When you have Forrest Whitaker playing a supporting role and you have Angela Bassett show up as Mom. These Marvel movies have been known to very much kind of take place just a shade off from our world. Like, Marvel characters are always referencing contemporary pop culture and figures in the media, or important big figures of present day. Doctor Strange is talking about Beyonce, for example. So does that mean Angela Bassett, the actress, doesn't exist in the Marvel Universe? Does that mean Forrest Whitaker, as an actor, doesn't exist in the Marvel Universe? To go a step further into Guardians 2, does that mean Sylvester Stallone, even though I'm pretty sure movies in this cinematic universe, like the Guardians movies, I'm pretty sure they've mentioned Rocky and Rambo a couple of times at certain points, but he's out there playing, I don't remember who it is, but he's like, I want to remember Yondu. Let's go steal some shit. Like, he's out there as that character. So, you just have to wonder, it's like, Sylvester Stallone, does he exist in the Marvel Universe as Sylvester Stallone, the actor? Or is it like a Last Action Hero type of thing where they travel to, Slater's cinematic world? The kid travels to Slater's cinematic world, and because Schwarzenegger doesn't exist in that world, the Terminator is now played by Sylvester Stallone. It's just one of those things that I get into my head every once in a while with these movies. It's just because, I guess, the Marvel Universe, more so than even like DC's films and things like that, the Marvel Universe is striving so hard to kind of run parallel to what's going on in our real world. And when you have characters that, again, drop pop culture references ad nauseum, you kind of wonder, like, you just get into that headspace and be like, so does that mean Angela Bassett doesn't exist in this universe? Curious curiouser. Thankfully, again, it doesn't distract me from the movie, but it's just one of those things I do now with these movies, is that when you have a very, very well-known actor and celebrity kind of taking a prominent role, or kind of for stealing enough focus for a while, you start to kind of think that. Whatever, I'm weird. So yeah, Black Panther. Solid movie, solid action, great characterization, especially on the villain side of things. Have a ball with it. I didn't see it in 3D, but I can imagine the 3D being pretty spectacular given all the crazy visuals that take place in just Wakanda. And yeah, it goes without saying, stay until the very end because they got post-credit scenes galore. Like, I'm waiting for that one Marvel film that's just gonna, that one Marvel Cinematic Universe Marvel film that's just gonna derail everything they've been doing. I know it's kind of sick, but I'm secretly hoping the next Marvel movie they release is the true stinker of the whole franchise. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm saying, that'll probably be the dud out of all these movies. Max will tell you it was Iron Man 2, but Max is wrong. Iron Man 2, perfectly fine. Take it easy out there, enjoy Black Panther, and just remember, I never freeze.